This is Tokyo. It's one of the world's largest cities where technology, history, and a million vibrant experiences collide on every street. From its neon nights to the quiet calm of its surrounding nature, the sights here are endless. We're Shipra and Shivam, and we're on a journey to see as much of the world as we can. And here's how we spend our time in Tokyo.
So after a 2-hour journey on the Shinkansen, I can say it was quite a good experience. The train itself moves very fast, but you hardly notice it while you're on board. There are some weird parts where it's like your ears are popping. It's only momentary, and at the same time, you're able to get from destination to destination at extreme ease. I think what was also really nice was there was a particular part of the trip where we were able to see Mount Fuji in full glory. And it was not even a cloud in the sky, so it was awesome to check that out. We'll actually be driving over to that area tomorrow morning to do a full circuit around Mount Fuji. But now we find ourselves at our hotel for the next 3 days, which is the Hyatt Regency Tokyo.
So our hotel is located in Shinjuku, which is a big hub for business, transportation, shopping, and entertainment. So this is a very popular place for people to come stay when they come to Tokyo, and we're actually going to go out and explore it very soon. For our room here at the Hyatt Regency, we have one king-size bedroom. Just off the bat, this room is a lot bigger than the other room we were staying in Kyoto. Typically, like, rooms in Japan are relatively small, so I think it's still kind of smaller than like probably a room at a nice hotel in the US, but it's still really nice for Japan standards. So we've got a nice area here at the front to store our luggage. Obviously, all Japan hotels come with slippers, which is really nice, so we've got our slippers here, and also a nice set of robes as well for later if we want to use those. Standard amenities like coffee and water and things like that. I think there might be like a mini bar in there as well. Nice and big TV, standard bed. And actually one of the highlights of this room is that we're on the 25th floor. So it's really high up and we actually have a really nice view of the city. There's currently 4 things that me and Shivam are surviving on in this country. First, yogurt. We've had so much yogurt. We actually had yogurt for dinner the other day. Egg salad sandwiches, which I gave up on day 2 because I just was feeling nauseous after eating them. And it's unclear if those are even vegetarian because I read on Reddit some places people were saying, well, like, those have fish seasoning in them or whatever. But like, that's really the only thing we can eat. So Shivam's been eating those. Then we found this drink called Yabas milk protein. And that's like got a couple of different flavors. It's basically like a protein shake. So we've been having that. And then basically like more protein bars. I've been eating so much like dairy and whey. It was disgusting.
So just come to the main area of Shinjuku, and honestly, it's like sensory overload. It's like Vegas and Times Square, times like 10 to 20. Signs everywhere, flashing lights everywhere. Honestly, coming here, it makes you really understand why so many of those movies or TV shows or video games where you see these kind of cities of the future or like dystopian cyberpunk worlds are like all modeled off of Tokyo. It just feels like there's advertising in every single direction. But even though it's so overwhelming, it's super cool to be here. Shipra's on the move, seeing if she can get one of the plushie toys.
But you only get one price?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh. No, I think they do that on purpose. I could get addicted to this.
There's just store after store of all these prize games. Shipra, do you think you can get addicted to those prize games?
Oh, for sure. I gotta stay away from that stuff. I'm here looking for cosmetics now. That's a better use of my money.
Or a better use is just buying the plushie directly.
Yeah, that's true. But there's just this fun of like, oh, I'm gonna get it.
It's the high.
Yeah,
it's the high of an addict.
I always remember being so disappointed when I did those machines as a kid, but now as an adult I realize that they're just designed to make you feel like a failure.
Except they're even worse here in Japan, because the ones in America, they never even come close to actually picking up the thing.
Yeah, like you don't get your hopes up as much. This one, it actually picked it up. Like I was confident I was gonna get it, but then it just like, it just dropped it. Like it just intentionally dropped it. Like it was like, there's no way to win the game. Like,
think overall Shinjuku is pretty cool. There's all these little streets with like all these vendors and tiny restaurants, and it's really a cool place to check out. But fortunately for us, it seems like the same problem as pretty much everywhere else. Just a lot of meat.
But yeah, lots of little like boutique food places that I think people are enjoying a lot here. Maybe have seats for like 3 or 4 people at a time, which look like a really good experience for like the people who eat meat. So if you eat meat, then it might be a great place to come actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I ate meat, this would be probably one of the best places to visit.
Yeah, for sure.
So this morning we woke up bright and early to head out to the Mount Fuji area, which you can see right here in the back. We ended up grabbing some groceries and picking up a rental car. So after a lot of reading online, I found that you can either take a tourist bus or you can take a variety of trains and buses, local buses here in the Mount Fuji area to get around. But those seemed a little bit inconvenient to me because you wouldn't be able to get to all the locations that you wanted to. So I've plotted out about 4 or 5 different spots that we're going to check out today, all around the Fuji area. We did pack up some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for lunch and some vegetables, some salads and stuff like that. So it should be a little bit better of a meal than we've been having so far here in Japan. But the main attraction here is just the stunning viewpoints of Mount Fuji. And we got really lucky because it tends to be that a lot of people that come to this area have very poor weather. And as a result, the entire mountain is covered by clouds. But today we have extremely clear weather. It's sunny. It's actually going to go up to around 70 degrees today. And it's going to be a perfect day. We've gotten very, very lucky with weather here in Japan.
So Mount Fuji is the largest active volcano in Japan. It stands at a whopping 12,000 feet, and it is considered to be an active volcano, although the last time it erupted was in the 1700s. The town that we've come to today is called Kawaguchi. This is a popular area for tourists to come and get nice views of Mount Fuji. And what you can see behind me is Lake Kawaguchi. So this is a great place to get some nice views of Mount Fuji. You can also, I think, rent some boats and paddle boats and stuff to go see Mount Fuji from the lake itself. And although we're not hiking up Mount Fuji for this trip, it is very accessible to do a hike up Mount Fuji. It's a 2-day hike with an overnight stay in a mountain hut. And the best time to go is from July to September because that's when most of the snow has melted. So we've come to the southwestern side of Mount Fuji now. So you can kind of do a loop around Mount Fuji. So we drove about an hour from where we were at Lake Kawaguchi, and we've come to the southwestern side now. And on the way, I was able to stop and get an iced brown sugar ginger latte. And it's so good. And I think it's so funny because so many of the places you go here, you're like in the middle of nowhere, where like in America, you probably couldn't find like a nice high quality iced latte, but this is like a bougie latte that we got in the middle of nowhere. So that has been a great part of Japan that I've loved exploring. The next area that we're visiting is called Shiraito Falls. So Shiraito actually means white threads in Japanese. And this is a set of waterfalls basically, with the biggest one being 66 feet high. The water for Shiraito Falls comes from Mount Fuji. So we came down to the second set of falls in Shiraito Falls area. And just coming down here, I immediately had the thought that this really reminds me of the movie, The Journey to the Center of the Earth, where when they finally get to the center, there's like all these waterfalls and kind of rainforests everywhere. It's just like really magical and really green. And I think what's unique and different about this waterfall is that usually you see like one big waterfall and maybe a small one next to it, but this one has like all across the cliff, there's like tiny little waterfalls like that are coming off, and that like next to all the greenery looks really beautiful.
Once you get a bit closer to the falls, you can feel a little bit of the mist coming down on you. It's nice, especially when it's a hot day. Although today it's a little bit chilly, so you know, your mileage may vary. But one thing I've really enjoyed about here, specifically around Tokyo and in the Fuji area, is you get kind of those two contrasting places. Like yesterday we were in areas that felt straight out of a dystopian cyberpunk type of movie, versus here, it's almost like you're in a fantasy land of nature. It's really just cool to see that contrast within just a couple of hours. So we've now come to an area called Sakura River. And honestly, looking online, I didn't see much about this place. I just saw a couple of random short videos and I did not know if it existed. But I can confirm it exists. There's cherry blossoms everywhere, which I also was not sure about if it would actually be in bloom at this time of year, but we got lucky. Cherry blossoms are here, and you have Fuji right in the background. Unfortunately, Fuji is a bit obfuscated by some clouds right now, but still amazing, amazing views. And on the way in here, which we'll actually circle back to, there's actually a couple of views where you can see Fuji above some tea fields as well. So really cool place to be.
This has got to be one of my most favorite places I've visited in Japan so far. I think I'm a little less interested in like the city vibes. I think there's definitely for people who enjoy cities and like the diversity of culture and the food. I think it's a really great place to visit in that sense, but I really love just exploring the nature and kind of getting into more of the rural areas. So this has been really beautiful, seeing all the cherry blossoms near the river. And there's actually a lot of houses here as well, so you can see like people in their backyards, like planting their gardens or going for a walk and stuff. So I think it feels a lot more like an authentic experience. And I think in addition to that, there's not a lot of tourists here, so it's not crowded, really be able to just enjoy, you know, the sound of the water and the views of Mount Fuji and the flowers as well. And if you're looking for a place to propose to your partner, this could be a beautiful place to do so in this time of year.
So the final place I wanted to check out was not necessarily this spot exactly, but a general idea. And the idea was tea plantations with an overlook on Mount Fuji in the background. And not even 2 minutes away from the Sakura River are plenty and plenty of tea plantations to be able to get that view. So you can see right behind me, Fuji. Actually, the clouds are moving away from it, so you can kind of see the tippy top of it now. And all these tea plantations in front. It's a really cool view.
So after a long day at Mount Fuji, we decided to come to the Shibuya area to get some food and also just explore this area because it's known for a lot of different things like cafes, malls, different types of entertainment. So just walking through the streets, it's been really nice. I think it's a little bit more upscale than Shinjuku, which I like. So there's a lot of different stores and coffee shops and things like that to explore. So there's plenty to do here. And then we ended up eating dinner at a chain here, which is called Falafel Brothers. You know, the food was okay. I think we've definitely had better Mediterranean food, but it was really nice to be able to have like a nutritious meal. I think both of us ate it and we were like, okay, finally, we got some good food.
So Shibuya Crossing is the busiest crossing in the world. And it's actually really cool because everyone's walking in all directions diagonally at the same time. It's just this massive crowd the entire time. Shipra was, I almost lost her in the crowd.
Well, you were stopping in the middle of the crowd to take videos. I was like, I'm just gonna walk. I don't want to like someone run into me or anything.
Yeah, there was like 10,000 people moving all at once.
I just didn't want to get run over.
So we just wrapped up at Don Quijote, which is possibly the most overwhelming store I've ever been to. So with advertising everywhere.
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised because I've noticed here in Japan, like there's a big consumerism culture, and I think it's pretty similar in America as well. But like I remember even before coming here, like a lot of people asked me like why I was only bringing a carry-on and that like I should bring back a ton of skincare and snacks and like all this stuff. And I was like, you know, like I'll try it when I go there and you know, have my normal skincare routine. It's just interesting that like people really fall into like the consumerism of Japan.
Yeah.
Like all over Instagram, YouTube, there's all this advertising around, oh, you should try like these skincare products. Like I myself bought one or two because I was like, I just want to try these. But now I think about it, it's like, it's just a drugstore product. So like, I don't know what would make it so special, but
yeah,
I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. I'm not sure.
I think it's the fact that they make these stores so like wall to wall, just things everywhere.
Yeah.
It makes you feel so overwhelmed and like feel like you need to buy something.
Yeah.
And we also walked out with stuff. So
I will say though, the stuff we bought some Japanese candy to try.
yeah.
Some special Kit Kat flavors, which I think is like worthwhile. And we bought some special strawberries, which are from a specific region here that are supposed to be like really sweet and taste really good. So that's all we bought. And I guess I bought this Kyoto lemonade because I liked it a lot. And you can't get it anywhere else, I guess.
Shipra's already reminiscing about Kyoto.
Yeah, I guess so. This is a very overwhelming place for me.
So last night after exploring Shibuya a bit, we ended up coming back to the hotel pretty tired, as we have been most days. But this morning we've gotten a little bit of a later start than other days, and we've come out to Chidorigafuchi Park, which is a park that's well known for a lot of cherry blossoms here in central Tokyo. It's also known for this specific view, which onlooks the cherry blossoms as well as a variety of boats. We're gonna walk over to the boat pier and see if there's a line for boats or not. If there's not, maybe we'll actually go out on the water. And funnily enough, right next to the park is the Indian embassy with an Indian restaurant right next to it. Shipra was getting a bit confused as to why things started to be written in Hindi. As expected with most Instagram popular spots, the line is big and it only opened like 5 minutes ago. So I think we might just call it a skip on this one, just enjoy the view and then head out to our next location that we want to check out here in Tokyo, because we're only here in Tokyo today and we leave for Seoul tomorrow. So we want to make the most of the day.
Yes. So we just came to this Tsubaki Salon in Ginza, and it's known for their souffle pancakes, which I guess are pretty popular around here. I think they're popular in a lot of Asian countries, and there was a few places on Instagram that looked like, there's a place in Mount Fuji that looked really good, but we decided to kind of stay away from the Instagram places just because of the crowds. And we came to this place, which I found on Reddit, and it was like a little more upscale, I think, but it was still really good. I enjoyed trying the souffle pancakes. I think they're definitely have more of an eggy texture, which I think goes for a lot of baked goods here. So not exactly what I was envisioning, but I think it was still a good experience to have.
I think I find myself to be more of an American pancake type of guy.
More of a Kodiak cakes type of guy.
Yes, Kodiak cakes, exactly. That really hits the spot.
Yeah.
But these were still good, and I got a little bit of ice cream on the side too, which was
Yeah,
nice.
this was like supposed to be breakfast or brunch, and they're like literally brought out the pancakes came with a sundae on the side, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't eat this much sugar this early in the day.
Yeah.
It's
But
done. We've eaten dessert for breakfast.
It was good regardless, and the other parting gift I got from this experience is a nice big stain on my pants. So, yeah.
He pooped his pants from the front.
And I think it's either the weather or all the very expensive shops that we're walking by, but this area feels a lot like Santana Row in the Bay Area. So it doesn't feel like you're too far from home when you're in Japan, actually. The weather has been really, really similar to what we left in California.
Unless you're looking to go find food, then it feels different.
True, yes. If you're looking for food, it is much more difficult as a vegetarian, but there are some interesting desserts that we've been trying. So we had a string of misfortune over the past couple of hours. First, we went to a place that was famous for strawberry sandwiches or other types of fruit sandwiches. And that was a bust because the line was over an hour long.
Yeah.
And it was stretching all the way across a park.
Yeah.
And then we went to another place which was meant for vegan gyoza.
Yeah.
And that was another bust because we got there was no line or anything, but the entire place was full and no one had their food. So we waited there for like over half an hour.
I think we were there for at least 45 minutes, if not more.
Yeah, and nothing happened. So
And keep in mind, I went there hungry. So you can imagine how I felt at the end of that 45 minutes.
So we ended up going to 7-Eleven, getting some protein
Oh
bars,
my gosh.
getting a strawberry sandwich there because suddenly they had them.
That was our stroke of luck after all
Yeah.
the misfortune.
And it was okay. It wasn't anything
I wouldn't buy it
special.
again.
But now we've come to Akihabara, which is the electric city. So this place is very known for a lot of like electronic stores as well as like lots of anime themed stores and all sorts of different things. So I'm excited to maybe see a few things to relive my childhood.
So in Akihabara, we found some street food vendors, and we were able to find some 10 yen bread, which is in the shape of 10 yens. And it's like a sweet bread with mozzarella cheese filled inside of it. And I had been meaning to try it, but yesterday it was closed when we were in Shibuya. So I'm glad I was able to find it. Let's see if I like it.
I would say it tastes pretty meh, honestly. The cheese doesn't taste very great, and it does not make a good combination with the bread that's a
Bread's
little
too sweet.
Yeah.
It's too sweet and the cheese is too salty. It's just like not good.
There's probably better places to go. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm not going to retry it again. The only cool part or compelling part about this whole thing is just the cheese stretching out, which I guess is interesting.
And I guess it has calories, which we haven't been able to get a lot of around here, so.
That's true. But this area is super cool because they have all these like interesting stores. We even just went to one that has like an entire section dedicated to Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, to games that I used to play as a kid. And I was just showing Shipra how like I used to watch shows like One Piece or Dragon Ball Z, stuff that used to come on Toonami. And my older sister, she used to watch shows like Naruto. So it's kind of cool to like, relive some of those memories. So I just wrapped up our time at Akihabara, and it was pretty cool. I would say like there's a lot of nostalgia aspects, and there's also some cool shops that we just don't get in the US. So there are shops entirely dedicated to PC hardware, for instance, which was pretty awesome to see. The only thing we have in America is Micro Center, but those are very few and far between. But now we've walked a little bit further onto Ueno Park. So this is one of the largest parks in the Tokyo area. And you can see behind me there's lots of cherry blossoms, there's a lake, there's also some temples here, as well as the zoo in Tokyo. So it's a pretty expansive park. So we're gonna walk around, see what there is to do. I think there are some street vendors, so maybe there's some of those elusive snacks that we couldn't find, we'll be able to find here. So we've now come to Sensō-ji Temple. This is actually the oldest temple in all of Tokyo. It was made back in the 600s, and it's one of the most iconic sites, at least historical sites, here in Tokyo. You can see the temple is very different from a lot of the other temples we've been to. There's a variety of shops down the road that leads right into the main area, as well as a beautiful pagoda in the background. But not only that, on the other side of the temple, you get an entire view of the Tokyo Skytree. It's a really cool place to be, especially at night, I think, when everything's lighting up. And finally, if you walk just 5 minutes past the Sensō-ji Temple, you come to Sumida Park, which is a riverside park where you can see a lot of cherry blossoms in the day, but specifically at night, you see the Tokyo Skytree. The Tokyo Skytree, which honestly, looking at it from here, it didn't seem that big, but now I'm realizing it is the third largest building in the world. It is only after the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, which we've seen, as well as Merdeka 118, which I've seen in Kuala Lumpur. So it's the next morning now, and we just touched down in our next location we're checking out on this trip, which is Seoul. So we just flew in from Haneda Airport, and we actually ended up taking Asiana business class on a relatively short flight. And I think overall it was a good experience, right?
It was nice kind of from the beginning where like we were able to go through, like the security line was really long. And I guess for business class passengers, you were able to go through like a priority line. So that made that really easy. And then we were able to check out the A&A lounge, which is also really nice, very spacious, and gave us some space to relax and get some breakfast in the morning as well. And then the flight itself was really smooth. It was really nice to be able to stretch out our legs. We got our vegetarian meals, which were actually surprisingly not bad, and the service was really good. So I think overall I had a very good experience.
Yeah, I was telling Shipra about how it's going to be a lay flat experience. It wasn't exactly lay flat. It was kind of lay flat at an angle.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it was lay flat, but it was like, as opposed to like this, it was a little bit like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still cool to try out for even a short flight. And overall, I think I enjoyed Japan a lot. I think it was a good place. Overall, I liked Kyoto a lot more than Tokyo. Tokyo to me felt significantly overwhelming. There was a lot of people everywhere, a lot of advertising, which was just kind of on every single wall you can think of, every single surface there's advertising. And I think it just wasn't as clean as Kyoto. So I think that's why I liked Kyoto more. Although obviously in Tokyo, there's a lot more options in terms of like, okay, I want to go shopping somewhere. I want to go find food somewhere. I want to take the train somewhere. But Kyoto was a bit quieter, a bit better organized, I felt overall. And I think the advantage was we had our car during our time in Kyoto, which just made it easier to get around, I feel.
Yeah. I think Kyoto was definitely a little bit of a, like less populated and less, I wouldn't say less touristy, but it was just a little less crowded except for in like the very touristy hotspots. And it was just really nice to be able to enjoy nature and some of the historical landmarks versus Tokyo is kind of like the hustle and bustle. So, you know, I think what you expect from a city, it's definitely there. And I think a lot of people would enjoy seeing that. There's a lot of little districts that have a lot of good food and different entertainment and activities. So overall, I think it is a good experience and a good place to visit.
For now, it's time to move on to our next adventure here in Seoul, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.